Run them likes up. We need 10,000 likes on this smoke.
Pull up 3 a.m. no time. Snore you this, you that. I know you niggas be wishing a nigga fall off the face of the mat. Shut up, Snore, you fat.
What's up, Snort Do crew? It's yours truly, Snorted. The right number to get into that Tyquan world story. You know, we back on the Rappamentaries. This is a Chirac Rappamentaries. Y'all don't know. Tyquan World is affiliates of STL, FBG, Gyro, that part of Chicago. It's y'all, you know what I mean, for the ones who didn't know. But anyway, let's go get into it. Run them likes up. We need 10,000 likes on this. Yeah.
Like and subscribe to this channel for more content. Thank you.
How was the documentary it made to save lives? I know for the Rappamentaries, I think we should do this one. Yeah.
You're watching the Tyquan World story. Sit back and relax.
TB.
Tyquan World is a deadly street gang that was started in the West Woodlawn neighborhood of Chicago in 2014. The name was adopted in honor of 13-year-old Tyquan Tyler, who was killed in 2012. The set is mixed with Gangster Disciples and Black P Stones. Some call Tyquan World the little brothers of STL. Members such as Poppy, Richie Jerk, Lil Bubba and TB all made the set popular by putting in work in the streets. TW was allegedly involved in over 20 murders. The set is known to stand on business. They're probably one of the strongest independent sets in Chicago and one of the youngest as well. Tyquan World went toe-to-toe with deadly gangs such as O Block, 600, Front Street, 800 and 051 Young Money. This is their story.
Okay, buddy. Not one, but two? Golly.
The Kira Barnes, also known as KI along with FBG Buddha, made names for themselves in the beginning of the war. Before claiming STL, they both claimed Gyro City. KI and Buddha both were always gangster disciples. The two became good friends around 2009. In 2011 they took credit for the O.D. Perry hit. At the time they were 14 and 15 years old. Buddha, who was known as Lil Tunchi, was really wild back then. He was known to fight and cause trouble. He was one of the first shorties from the neighborhood to pick up guns. Even Kai was into stealing cars. After O.D. Perry was killed, people began looking at her as a killer. Not only did she become popular in the Woodlawn neighborhood, Ki became popular on social media as well. People began calling her and Buddha the twins. Younger members of Gyro City began looking up to them both.
I like to speak on this because, like, when motherfuckers like first heard about KI, the stories was just crazy, bro. The stories was just crazy. I can remember far as back as like 2015, where they were saying this girl got 30 bodies. Like, the stories was just over exaggerated. You know? I'm glad that we had come to a time where more research has been done. I like the fact that it ain't motherfuckers fabricating tales. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that all the facts is there, but it's just more believable or more respectable than what was told before. Yeah.
Young members of Gyro City and STL often hung out at G. Daysky's place on Rhodes. At G. Daysky's, the young gang members had the freedom to do what they pleased. Tyquan Tyler was one of the youngest gang members who hung out at G. Daysky's. He was a gangster disciple who claimed Gyro City. His father was a well-known gang member as well. Tyquan grew up in the 6500 block of South Washtenaw Avenue in Woodlawn. Him and his two older sisters often hung out with their cousins who lived on Gyro City's turf. AI and FBG Buddha took a liking to Tyquan. They began calling him their little brother. Tyquan was known to be brave. He allegedly robbed and extorted older drug dealers in the neighborhood. One time Tyquan along with KI, Can't Get Right, and Medell had allegedly tried jumped O-Block member Chief Keef. Tyquan's mother wanted him away from the gang life. She sent him to live with relatives on the western Illinois border. In the summer of 2012, Tyquan's mother let him come back to the Woodlawn neighborhood for summer break. On June 22, 2012, a huge house party was thrown on the 6200 block of Rhodes. A 13-year-old Tyquan begged his mother to let him go with his 19-year-old sister. The party was filled with Jero City, EBT, STL and Brick Squad members. They were all drinking, smoking and popping pills. STL members were allegedly looking for trouble that night. First, FBG Budda beats up a Jero City member at the party. Shortly after, FBG Duck and other STL members allegedly chased a guy out of the party and beat him down for claiming 300. At around 1 a.m., Tyquan was leaving the party with his sister and a group of STL members when a member of Jero City fired a few shots at the group. One bullet struck Tyquan in the chest. Tyquan's mother pulled up to the scene and, seeing her son laid out the ground fighting for his life. She held him in her arms as he took his last breath. Tyquan was later taken to the University of Chicago Medicine's Cummer Children's Hospital and pronounced dead hours later. A large crowd of people stood at the crime scene grieving. Everyone refused to talk to the police. STL members wanted revenge for Tyquan immediately. The following night, FBG Brick and a few others go out looking for Nate from Jero City. As they leave G. Daskies, the police stops them and find weapons. They were all arrested and FBG Brick would spend the next 4 years in jail. Nate and Wayne from Jero City both were later arrested and charged with the murder.
And that's crazy because he said Brick was in jail. That's crazy because they said Brick was in jail. Because for the longest, niggas like me, I ain't even heard, like, didn't even know nothing about a Brick. Didn't even know nothing about a Brick. Then he like got out and his shit just started like coming like a storm damn near. It's like Brick this and whoop. And then that was kind of short lived because he unfortunately passed away. I want to say if he got out, I'm not good with times and shit. But it had to been like a year after he got released, then he passed away. I want to say, but I could be wrong, you know?
Murder of Tyquan. Nate is now serving 55 years in prison. Tyquan's death really affected Ki. She changed her social media name to Tyquan Assassin and basically took her anger out on O-Block and other ops in the city. STL and Jero City remained allies. They had to stick together because their rivals were coming with full force. Sets such as O-Block, 600 and TYMB were out for blood. Ki and FBG Budda began teaching young members of Jero City and STL how to do hits. People such as Twan, Lil Bubba, Richie Jerk and TB, who were all members of Jero City, helped start Tyquan World. It wasn't an independent set at the time. Tyquan World started off as a set under Jero City. In the beginning, Ki and other STL members didn't like the idea of Tyquan World. Not only because Tyquan was killed by Jero City members, but she didn't want Tyquan's name involved in negativity out of respect for his mother. Tyquan World was looked at as goofies in the beginning. They were only a group of wild kids at the time. They wasn't known to be shooters. People such as Poppy, Richie Jerk and TB were known to be good fighters. TB grew up on the 6200 block of Elberhard. He was a boxer and he studied martial arts. Many say he never lost a fist fight as a teenager.
I believe it.
His father
Hey, look, I believe it though. Hold on. I believe it. Like, you can just tell, like, the niggas that, that boy got some Hannerus. He got some Hannerus. For sure. Like, you can just look at him and tell.
King TB was a well-known gang member from Paxtown. He died at the age 19, before TB was even born. TB was best friends with Capo from Front Street. The two had went their separate ways around 2011. In January of 2014, TW lost their first member. Marquise Harris, also known as Lil Mo, was a 16-year-old from the neighborhood who claimed Tyquan World in Jero City, and who was also the younger cousin of TB. On the night of January 11, Lil Mo was shot and killed by STL member Manny Fresh, who was 20 years old at the time. Lil Mo was allegedly beating on Manny's younger sister at a house party in the 6200 block of South St. Lawrence. Manny Fresh was later charged with the murder, but ended up beating the case. Tyquan World and STL didn't feud over the incident. Everyone believed that Manny Fresh was in the right. 14-year-old
I'm saying if you gang, even though, hey, look though, no, I ain't gonna say that, cause that's really some personal shit. Yeah, that's really some personal. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. I just had to think about it for a hot second. Yeah.
Benzel Richardson, also known as Big V, was good friends with Poppy and TB. He claimed Tyquan World in Jarrow City. On February 2, 2014, Big V along with TB, D-Money and few others were walking south in the 6100 block of South Vernon when a white minivan pulled up alongside them. The driver's side passenger door slides open. Big V and the others break and run. Big V gets shot in the back of the head, but still managed to run into a gangway where he collapsed and died.
Excuse me.
It was too much for a young D-Money who was only 13 years old at the time. He cooperated with the cops. D-Money stated that the shooter was none other than 600-member D-Rose.
I had no evidence.
D-Rose was later arrested and charged with the murder. He's now serving 40 years in prison.
Man, you say...
Just 2 months after losing Big V, TW takes another loss. On April 11 that year, Kai was shot and killed by O Block member King Von. In 2015, members of Tyquan World began catching bodies. In April of that year, TB allegedly shot and
Hold on, cause this battery was real good. And I gotta use the restroom, so I'll be back.
killed his childhood friend Capo on the 6000 block of South King Drive at around 2:45 p.m. The two were best friends for 10 years. According to TB, he threw up in a sink after the murder. He was now a killer.
According to who?
2:45 p.m. Loss. On April 11 that year, Kai was shot and killed by O Block member King Von. In 2015, members of Tyquan World began catching bodies. In April of that year, TB allegedly shot and killed his childhood friend Capo on the 6000 block of South King Drive at around 2:45 p.m. The two were best friends for 10 years. According to TB, he threw up in a sink after the murder. He was now a killer.
When did he say that? That's like my only question. When did he say that? I feel like I want to throw up.
Other gangs began taking TW serious. They were no longer under Jarrow City. Tyquan World was now an independent set. Members such as TB, Poppy and Lil Bubba began sliding on O Block and 600 every other week. In August of 2016, FBG Brick was released from jail.
Yeah.
He loved the whole Tyquan World idea. Brick went to jail for trying to get revenge for Tyquan. He became close to all of TW members. Some say that Brick was more of Tyquan World than he was STL. Members of STL didn't bail Brick out of jail. They let him sit in the can for 4 years and 2 months. His bail was only a couple $1,000s. FBG Brick became Tyquan World's OG. When Can't Get Right was released from jail, he followed Brick and began running with TW. The gang became twice as dangerous. More shorties from the neighborhood began joining TW. They were now a feared set. Can't Get Right went on hits with TB and other TW members. They were allegedly sliding on any op in the city. FBG Brick began releasing music around this time and managed to build a small fan base. Instead of playing the background, Brick was still a frontline soldier, and just like a lot of the gang bangers in Chicago, Brick used social media to taunt his ops. TW was now playing with more guns as well. The crew was inching to catch more bodies. TB, Poppy and Richie Jerk all began releasing music also. They dissed the ops in all of their songs. In January of 2017, the three released drill classic Tyquan Way. The video now has...
So I did a video to this. Whoa. I did a video to this song. And man, at the time it dropped, I was ignorant to like a lot of this shit. Just ignorant. You know, it was a lot of pages, or like you'll see forms or whatever the case may have been, where you had to read to understand what was kind of going on the deep side of the Chicago shit. Right? Like how now you just pull up a video, a rapimentary. You just pull it up. That'll give you all the information. Or what's deemed to be correct information. All alleged, all hearsay type shit. But for the most part, to get a better understanding, rapimentaries. Cool. When I did the video to this shit, I was just looking at it as a song. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. They talking shit. They talking they gang shit. I ain't think deeper into it. I ain't really fully understand who they were. You know? I can say that by a lot of videos I did pre-2020. Pre-2020 or really 2019. Pre-2019. I was just looking at songs and shit as just songs. Like, I didn't really get too deep into it. You know? I was real ignorant on a lot of facts. I knew niggas like O Block didn't mess with these niggas. Or I knew that, man, what's the niggas called? Pappy and them gang? I knew they ain't like them. I knew no limit ain't like these niggas. Like, I knew that, but like the deep shit. Like, I knew who King Von was, but all that shit that all the fans heard about him before he came out and shit, or started rapping, I ain't know none of that. Like, I always used to see his picture, and I'm like, who the fuck is this nigga? I'm like, oh, that's King Von. Okay, cool. You know, I ain't really think too much of it. But getting back to TB and Richie jerking them, like in real time, like I was doing videos when these guys were still here. They weren't on the radar, none of that, on my radar at least. But like all the people knew about them. The people, the fans, the supporters, you know, they knew about these niggas. They knew about these niggas for sure, you know? And yeah. What?
Has over 2 million views on YouTube. In the song they dissed O Block, 600, 800
See, back when I did the
Street.
video, it wasn't that popular.
On February 14th, 2017, O Block loses their top soldier.
Damn, he was only 23. Thought he was a little older than that.
This was one of the biggest hits in drill history.
That's crazy, cause niggas had on the same jackets and all. Like, hell yeah.
This was one of the biggest hits in drill history. TW was now on another level. They were now one of O Block and 600 biggest ops. Members of Tyquan World allegedly shot several 600 members after T-Roy was killed. TW was becoming a huge problem for the ops. O Block and 600 both were looking weak at the time. This is when T-Roy's younger brother Hakeem jumped off the porch.
Happy Valentine's Day. Never. Yeah, I remember this happening.
Hakeem, later known as HK, along with Duke and other O Block 600 members, started the Get Back Gang. On June 16 of 2017, HK and other members of the Get Back Gang sat outside of Poppy's job. Poppy had a job at L&P Food and Candy Warehouse. While helping a lady out with her groceries, HK allegedly hops out of a vehicle and shoot Poppy multiple times, including 3 times in the head. Poppy was pronounced dead shortly after. He was 18 years old. TW members were heartbroken. TB threw a fit at Poppy's funeral. He wanted revenge immediately. But the Get Back Gang were too strong for Tyquan world at the time. T-Roy had friends who were rap stars. People such as Lil Durk, Chief Keef, Frito Santana and Lil Reese were all upset about T-Roy's death. More guns were in the Get Back Gang possession.
Damn. Take these dumbass shoes.
Colby Mack was FBG Brick's older cousin from the low end. He became close to Tyquan world by hanging with Brick. Kobe did security work for a living and was licensed to carry a firearm. He allegedly began sliding with and for his younger cousins. Some say that he was overprotective. Kobe was willing to die over his family. 1 month after Poppy was killed, FBG Brick and Colby Mack were both killed by the Get Back Gang. Brick was only out of jail for 10 months.
You know what I'm saying? What I tell y'all? He wasn't even out that long, bro. I told you I'm just bad with the times, but and man, look, and I remember seeing videos. Yeah, this gonna get old quick. This long ass cable.
On September 26th of that year, HK and the Get Back Gang sneaks up on TV inside from jail.
Hold on, drugstore, bro. But look, bro. So I remember when, like, you know, Instagram Live just starting to come about, and I remember Duck was on Instagram Live, said they killed my brother and a fucking crackhead. I remember that. Whole time, dude was them niggas' cousins. But, like, that was the word around the whole situation that Brick died with a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? That was I remember that.
Jero City and shoots them both. Side was shot in the head and TB was shot several times in the head, face, shoulder, chest and torso. Side survives, but TB was pronounced dead at Northwestern Hospital. He was 21 years old.
We already did it.
TW had lost 2 of their top members in only 3 months. They were low on guns at the time as well. The Get Back Gang had way more firepower at the time, and they were making way more money. At an early age, O Block members such as Duke and HK were selling pounds of marijuana. They ran a successful operation in Parkway Gardens. A lot of the Tyquan World members had jobs, some were even still depending on their parents. That's what made Poppy an easy target. A lot of people knew where he worked. On November 24, 2017, HK was killed inside of Parkway Gardens. He was allegedly killed by other Black Disciple members. STL, Jero City and Tyquan World all celebrated HK's death. Sliding on O Block members is difficult. They're protected by the buildings and gates in Parkway Gardens. That always gave O Block an advantage. Sets such as STL, Jero City and TW all hung out in front of houses and on street corners. That made them.
They do gotta, like, that motherfucker really a gated community, bro. Real deal gated community. Like, then they got guard stands and shit. Sometimes the police just be on the block just chilling and shit. I ain't gonna confirm that police shit. But we all know that Snore went over there. It was a policeman with the lights on, just booling for real. He was on the end closer to 63rd. That part of the gate. It's an end close to 63rd. That's where he was at.
Them easy to touch.
But it was old, like right in front of the old block entrance. Hell yeah.
A few STL and Jero City members were close to Melly from 051 Young Money. What many don't know is, 051 and Tyquan World always had tension. It allegedly started when members of TW shot a member of 800. Melly began hanging out in the neighborhood with people such as FBG Duck, Young, Cash, Motor and Side. Tyquan World had no choice but to deal with it. They were still the shorties in the neighborhood. Melly was loved by the Flyboy gang. He supported the whole movement. Just as everyone else, Melly expected FBG to make it. He even attended their shows and hung out with them in the studio.
Can't get right, murdered. Nah, Kate, like his shit on film too. His shit crazy. They really got a crackhead. They got him. Boy, was coming out with a nice plate. It's a video circulating somewhere. You gotta go find it on your own.
In the summer of 2019, Melly had allegedly shot up a member of TW home while his family was there over a small gambling debt. On August 31st of that year, members of Jero City threw a house party celebrating Can't Get Right's birthday. He would have turned 24 years old. FBG Duck allegedly had a private party that night as well. He didn't invite Melly for obvious reasons. Many say that Duck wasn't dealing with many of the TW members at the time. He allegedly blamed them for breaking into his home months prior. Melly decided to attend the party. At around 2:45 in the morning, a TW member allegedly shoots Melly several times. Melly was pronounced dead at the University of Chicago Medical Center. He was 27 years old.
Like these niggas ain't
TW
seeing
members
30,
began
bro.
bragging about the Melly hit. This is when 051 started Melly Way. Melly Way is similar to the Get Back gang. They were ready to go to war with Tyquan World. In February of 2020, D-Money and other TW members allegedly killed O-Block member Jado. This had allegedly made King Von, who at the time was a huge rap star, very upset. He allegedly wanted Jado's killers dead. On May 7th of
That
2020,
nigga ain't like nobody.
Melly Way allegedly killed Richie Jerk. The war was now on. 051 Young Money and TW began getting in shootouts every other day. Tyquan World was now all alone. They no longer had STL and Jero City as allies. Members from STL and Jero City both made it clear that they were staying out of it. Even FBG Duck looked the other way. This only made TW go even harder. They continued sliding on their ops. On the night of June 19, 2020, D-Money and other Tyquan World members allegedly creeps inside of O-Block looking for ops. A guy by the name of Armin Proctor was out walking around when 3 TW members allegedly came from out the cut shooting. Proctor was shot several times and was later found dead on the sidewalk. He was 23 years old. Things really fell apart after FBG Duck was killed in August of that year. FBG Cash began throwing up Ys in his music videos showing love to 051 Young Money. This caused tension between STL and Tyquan World. Richie Jerk's older brother Billionaire Black is a member of the Flyboy gang. Billionaire looked at Cash as a big brother. It broke his heart seeing Cash showing love to his brother killers. The war between TW and Melly Way was deadly. They continued trading fire.
I
In
did
May
not
of
know Buddy was his
2021,
brother.
Tyquan World lost another member. D-Money was allegedly shot over 20 times. D-Money is the person who identified D-Rose as Benzin Richardson killer back in 2014. He became one of TW's most respected members. D-Money allegedly had 5 bodies.
Okay. I've been hearing a lot about this guy. Well, seeing a lot, blogs.
Tyquan World is now a popular gang who plays a huge part of drill history. This is a gang that was started by 13-year-old misguided children. They played by no rules. From day one they were known to be wild and reckless. Members such as Lil Bubba allegedly did hits just for pills when he was younger. TW started off as Jero City and STL little brothers. Over the years they became stronger and larger than Jero City and STL both. Well, this was the Tyquan World story. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. God bless.
God bless. Anyway, though, YouTube, this was an educational video. Like he said, Chicago history. Yeah, you ain't heard him. But, I learned some shit in this video. I relearned some shit, too. So, okay, hold on. I forgot I'm on YouTube. I learned some things in this video. I relearned some things. Kind of give you a clear picture of why certain things are the way they are. You know? Why certain things are the way they are. So, you know, yeah. But if y'all got any more rapper minutes y'all want me to check out, leave that down in the comment section. If you made it to the end, type Rockstar. Other than that, though, it's your boy Snore. I'm gone, man.